All right. Thank you for joining me this morning. This is Eileen Nicole, and this is my podcast. So I hope you woke up on the right side of the bed because God did wake you up this morning. And I want to start the podcast with a prayer just to make sure we are always starting our morning with prayer. And because there's always a lot of stuff going on in the world. So I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of who's really in charge. So let's start here. So Heavenly Father, thank you for waking us up this morning. I want to ask you to help lead us and guide us through the day and into the future. I know there's a lot of trending topics that we're going to cover today, and I just hope and pray that as we go through these topics, if these resonate with us, that and the people are on our hearts, that we do pray for them. Also, I want to ask you to help us with all the problems that we're having, not just in the world, but in our personal lives. I want to ask you to forgive us for the sins that both known and unknown, that we've committed against you, both in our sleep and now that we have awoken. Thank you for all the help that you have given us. I praise your holy name. Um, we give honor and glory to you, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you again for protecting us, directing us, and correcting us. In Jesus' wonderful and mighty name, we thank you and we pray. Amen. All right. So, um, all right. Excuse me. All right. So this morning we're going to talk about the obvious thing, which is Queen Elizabeth II. She has passed away. She passed away last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say. So I put up some shorts yesterday, if you see on my page, but they had put up a news report that the doctors were concerned about her health, and I thought that was kind of odd for them to put that up. So I did put on some shorts yesterday about basically um, how I thought that she was going to pass away because they put that up there. Um, but she did pass away. I think that she was prepared to go. I think that her and her son and all of the people around her team, the House of Windsor, I'm sure that they all have well prepared for this moment. Now, I'm sure she wasn't prepared to take that last breath, that part, but I'm talking about up to the lead up to it. I'm sure she was very prepared. And you can tell because everybody is, even though they're mourning, they're pretty calm. It isn't like, oh my gosh, much like it was with her dad. When her dad passed away, um, it wasn't smooth. It wasn't really a smooth transition, even though the office of you know queen, they knew how to move and put her into the office, but his death was unexpected. So her death, she was 96 years old. That's a long time to live. 96 years old. So she did prepare her family. She'd been preparing her family. But I do want to talk about the controversial things that have happened since um, she's passed, because um, people have said some pretty wild things. Um, but we're going to look at why some people were, feeling a little bit aggy about it. But first, let's go over, who she is. And we're going to, all right, perfect. So let's go, let's look at her encyclopedia page. Elizabeth II, Queen of United Kingdom. Um, and they've already updated it here. She died yesterday, which is September 8th at 5:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After more than 70 years on the throne, Queen Elizabeth II has died on September 8th. She was succeeded by her eldest son, who will rule as King Charles III. Now, Elizabeth II in full is Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, officially Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of her other realms and territories, Queen, head of the Commonwealth and defender of the faith. She was born in April of 1926 in Balmoral Castle, which is where she passed away in Scotland. Now, people like to say that Ireland is like the darling of the Caucasian world, but it's actually Scotland. The everybody likes the Scots. Queen of Scots, Prince Andrew, or not Prince Andrew, um, her husband, he was from Scotland. Anyways, she surpassed Victoria to become the longest reigning monarch in history. Elizabeth was the elder daughter of Prince Albert, Duke of York, and his wife, Lady Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. That seems like Camilla it's her. I think Camilla's name is Bowles, though, Bowls. But they could have changed it. The monarchs are known for changing their last names, for sure. As a child of a younger son of King George the Fourth, or the Fifth, excuse me, the young Elizabeth had little prospect of acceding to the throne until her uncle Edward the Eighth, afterward the Duke of Windsor, abdicated in her father's favor. So he basically gave up the throne so he could marry this woman, and her name, I forgot her name, but she was ugly. Um, and she just looked like she had an attitude. Also, she was a big fan of Hitler. That was what made me look at her as an ugly woman. So the princess's education was supervised by her mother, who entrusted her daughters to a governess, Marion Crawford. The princess was also grounded in history by C.H.K. Martin, afterward provost of Eton College, and had instructions from visiting teachers in music and language. So she, grew up in a very, very wealthy family, privilege and power and wealth. So this is at the peak of society in the UK. Now, we don't honor like kings and queens here in the US, but we do pay homage because of the French Revolutionary War. UK history, Britain history, European history is part of a small part of our history, because they've had their own wars and their own things going on. But we a lot of our history does come from Europe, specifically the Queen of England. Now, early in 1947, Princess Elizabeth went to the King and Queen to South Africa. After her return there was an announcement of her betrothal to her distant cousin, Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten. Now, the Mountbattens had their own monarchy, but they were chased out of their home after their war that they had. And some say that the Duke of, what did he come? Duke of Edinburgh. They said that his dad actually sold them out. So this was kind of like a disgrace to his family. So he had to find a way to, climb back up the royal ladder. So she, her dad had I think he had cancer. Let's see here. So it doesn't say here how he died. It just says Yeah, it just says here, but I believe he died of cancer or something like that. He had like a coughing condition. So I think it was like lung cancer, and he smoked a lot. So there's that. All right. And then, so then after he died, she went ahead and went into, into power. Now, she was only 25 when all this happened. So most royals, if you, I've listened to a lot of interviews, most of them do not want to be like king or queen. They just like being a royal. There's all kind of duties and things that they have to do. Just being the royal that they are within, their house. So, like Prince Philip, Prince Harry, they have a bunch of dates and a bunch of meetings and obligations that they have to meet as that particular with that particular title. So they don't, and so they get a glimpse of what it would be like, because you would have to do more the higher up you go. So a lot of them don't want to even be more than that, because they just like the duties that they have, and then they'll move forward. Anyways, so Queen Elizabeth had 4 children. She had Prince Charles, she had Queen Anne or Princess Anne, Princess Andrew. Oh, Prince Andrew. I said he was the 4th son. He's the 3rd son, actually. And then Prince Edward. Um, I don't know. Is he? Yeah, he kind of looks like his. He kind of looks like his dad a little, or his brother. Um, this is so yeah, that's basically it. Oh, with as far as her ascending to the throne and stuff like that. So we're gonna go over um some of the controversies of her reign. So she definitely had a few controversies, most notably the one with Princess Diana. Um, so the marriage between Prince Charles and Princess Diana was clearly, it was a choice. It wasn't like either of them was forced, but they had few options of who they could marry. So they chose each other. And Prince Charles actually wanted Camilla the whole time, but Camilla had gotten married to another man. Plus, she was already married prior to marrying that second guy. So he married Princess Diana. Now, I think he only did it to kind of get back at Camilla, because Princess Diana was prettier than her, younger than her, didn't have any marriages or anything like that. But he still loved Camilla. He still loved her because she probably wasn't a yes woman. That's probably what he liked about her. So Queen Elizabeth, let's see here. Oh, her sister, Princess Margaret. So Princess Margaret was a she was a spitfire. I'll just say that she definitely had she definitely did some things in her time. Let's see here. So Princess Margaret was, she was one of those women that, you know, had a lot. She was both of them. I think both of them, in my opinion, were attractive. But this is Princess Margaret. Um, she was a party girl for sure. She was always partying. That's really what she was known for. And her charities, she had like 50, 60 charities that she had lent her name to and that she would visit and raise money for. And a lot of them were children's charities, which I commend her for. I like that part. And but she smoked a lot too, just like her dad. So she was the first Princess Diana, basically. People followed her around. She got caught cheating on her on her husband. Um, she she was wild. She was wild. She was dating a gay man, or she married a gay man, had children with him. He divorced her, obviously, but she really did try to be a good royal. Like towards the end, she did try to kind of change it up because she knew her sister was a queen. She knew, the whole house had to. Because I'm telling you, she was basically the first Diana because they was always following her around and taking pictures of her and digging into her life, which was messy. And so she was always on the front page and always doing stuff. Um, but yeah, she she definitely was a riot. Um, but at the end of the day, that was one of the queen's scandals, is that she was at the center um, of all these different scandals. Um, she was forced to call off a proposed marriage to an Air Force officer, Captain Peter Townsend, in 1955 because he was divorced and was deemed unsuitable by the stiff conventions of the time. Now, it's the same thing that happened with Prince Charles and Camilla. They couldn't marry because the previous the people that they fell in love with had been married previously. So um, yeah, they didn't want. I think they didn't want them to be taken advantage of. They didn't want them, because if it's no marriages on both sides, then that's fine. But the first, or at least one marriage on both sides. But that was a stiff rule, and they were saying that later on it was just looked down on. It wasn't like like you couldn't do it, but they told her if she did do it that she would be stripped of her title. So she gave it up. She gave up this man, but she actually really loved him, and she married a society photographer, Anthony Armstrong Jones, um, who assumed the title of Lord Snowdon. That marriage ended after a fling with landscape gardener Roddy Llewellyn, who was 18 years her junior. Yeah, see, this is the guy that she got caught up with, that she got caught cheating on her husband, but he was gay. Um, so I guess this was a way for her to get back at him. And then Prince Philip, so her decision to marry the Greek Prince Philip was not without controversy, even though Prince Philip, his family's his family's castle the is in Edinburgh, which is in Scotland. So his family he comes from a line of Scots. Um, while Philip had served with distinction in the British Royal Navy during the Second World War, he had sisters who were married to German aristocrats who were members of the Nazi Party. As such, none of his German relatives were invited to their wedding. So And then there was rumors that he was having extramarital affairs, which he probably was. These royals, they have to get married for title. They don't really get, I mean, sometimes they love each other, but that's not, their role isn't to love each other. Their role is to carry on the house name, to carry on the duties that their titles hold. And if they decide to get married, if they want to get, they don't have to get married. They do not have to get married. But if they do, it has to be to someone in their bloodline, and it can't be too far down their bloodline to keep this royal monarchy going. Which, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to marry any cousin of mine. I wouldn't. Um, so yeah, and then Princess Diana and Camilla Parker Bowles. I think that she might be a relative of Charles's grandmother. I think that's why he was able to marry her. But they call him the original love of his life, which she was. He met her before he met Diana, but they had met before multiple times. There's pictures of them. Well, there's like one or two pictures of the Princess Diana. They all go to these horse races and stuff like that. So there's pictures of them there. But anyway, so she had a huge fire at her house. The Windsor Castle almost burned down. That was in 1992. And then her mom died, which she was really close with her mom. And then her second son, Prince Andrew, and his wife, Sarah Ferguson, also divorced. It was a big deal back then that Fergie is her name, that Fergie and Prince Andrew got divorced. And I wonder if she's seen, what he was back then. But they had two daughters, and there's that. And then there's Prince Andrew, the scandal with Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew, and that horrible interview that he gave. Just very, arrogant about sex trafficking. And also, Prince Andrew is also linked to that weird guy in England. What is his name? Um, um, I forgot his name, but he's um, Jimmy Savile. That's his name. Um, Jimmy Savile. He's attached to him too, because he would go to the Queen's house a lot, but they tried to sweep that one under the rug. They tried to sweep that one under the rug, but hey. Yeah. But there was some stuff on on I thought there was some stuff on Yeah, so the Queen also, there's people that say all kind of crazy stuff about the Queen of England. David Icke says that the Queen of England is not an actual human, but that she's some sort of, I think he called her a lizard or something like that. He called her like something not human. But he's been saying this for years, for a long, long time. He's been saying this. I remember listening to one of David Icke's lectures back in the day, like long time ago. And this is before he came out with the lizard people stuff. He was just talking about how they are deeply occultic people. He just used to talk about that, and that was it. He just, but um, then he broke out with this whole, well, they're lizard people stuff. I feel like he was running out of stuff to say, so that's why he said that. Anyway, um, I really think that that is probably one of the reasons why he he said that. So let's go ahead into. So Prince Charles is going to be ascending the throne, and he is going to be called King Charles the Third, and he is the first two Charleses. Um, had some scandals themselves, but all the royals have scandals. I mean, every person has a scandal. If we were on the world stage, we'd have scandals too. But the let's see here. Let's see if the formal statement is. He's gonna keep his name, and so he is King Charles the Third, and he let's see here. So Queen Elizabeth II's eldest son, Prince Charles, became king immediately upon her death Thursday afternoon at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. He has also released a statement on her passing. Diana's supposed to be queen. Yeah, that's also a thing. That's also another scandal. People think that the queen had Diana killed. Um, I don't know. I do think somebody had her killed, and I don't know if it was a queen, but I do know that that wasn't a normal thing. That to me was a hit. Somebody put a price on her head, in my opinion, and it could have been the queen. I'm not sure, but I can't prove that. So allegedly, um, a lot of people are. If you see the comments, a lot of people are mad about Diana not being queen, because they are mad about how he treated her when they were married, when they were first got married, and see, it says, we don't acknowledge that man. Long live Diana. I know he's the one who asked about that baby color. Now, this is how the UK reports the Queen's death. I believe she was dead the first time y'all said it. Long live Diana. Can they just retire the whole kingdom already? But yeah, he will be the king. And this is a statement from them. That this is from yesterday. But since then, he has, you know, ascended to the throne. And another thing here is, so Amazon founder Jeff Bezos slams university teacher who wished Queen Elizabeth an excruciating death. I don't think so. Wow. So Jeff Bezos decides to clap back at a university professor who decided to make some not so nice comments about the Queen just hours before she died at her Balmoral Castle in Scotland on Thursday. Buckingham Palace had issued a statement earlier in the day and let it be known that doctors were concerned for Her Majesty's health as royal family members began flying out to Aberdeen, which is the nearest city to the state where the Queen would later pass away. The Amazon founder seemed somewhat disturbed after coming across a tweet by Yuju Anya, an associate professor at Carnegie Mellon University, who wrote in a since deleted tweet, I heard the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. May her pain be excruciating. Bezos acknowledged the post, responding, this is someone supposedly working to make the world better? I don't think so. Wow. Considering how much attraction Bezos gave the tweet, having amassed tens of thousands of likes prior to being deleted, it didn't take long for Anya to fire back at the 58-year-old billionaire, making everyone you and your merciless greed have harmed in this world remember you as fondly as I remember my colonizers. Okay. Jeff Bezos might be a racist. I see that. Queen is responsible for racism, classism, and sexism, to name a few. She's evil, and everyone should be aware of it. I thought Jeff was one of the good ones. What made you think that? I don't know where you would. Where in the manual would it say that? I'm not sure. I'm sure some of his drivers and warehouse employees will say the same about him. She said what she said respectfully. That's not the message or energy you want to put out. It's harder to advocate for something you don't extend. No, but Jeff don't have really a leg to stand on. He just don't. He just don't. Um, so in more news, y'all, Kanye West said he's releasing all grudges and pays tribute to Queen Elizabeth's life. Life is precious. Kanye West always got something to say. The business and fashion mogul took to social media earlier Friday morning to share what's been on his mind, and it looks like he's focusing on peace and forgiveness. In a post shared on Instagram, Ye said, "Life is precious. Releasing all grudges today, leaning into the light," while saying that he also included pictures of Queen Elizabeth in his Instagram slide following news about her passing on Thursday. This guy, now this is her in her coronation gown. Something is wrong with dude. Kanye West is he begged to be with that woman. He did all kind of stuff to get with Kim, and now he acting brand new, acting like he don't know how or why. What happened? What happened? I really don't want to hear it from this dude. I just don't. In other news, y'all, let's move on forward here. Oops. So what they're saying is that they're going to be giving a COVID booster shot every year. So they're basically planning on you um, taking this shot every year. And I didn't take the shot, but if you did, this is basically what they're going to have you do. Look, I didn't take that shot. And God forbid that I have to. I don't want to. I don't think that I should have to. They should come up with a cure and then we can talk. But until then, I'm not going to be taking this every year. That seems a little excessive. But this is what they're planning. The U.S. has reached an important milestone in the pandemic, according to federal health officials. Going forward, COVID-19 could be treated more like the flu, with one annual shot offering year-long protection against severe illness for most people. Barring any new variant curveballs, for a large majority of Americans, we are moving to a point where a single annual COVID shot should provide a high degree of protection against serious illness all year. The federal government has started rolling out a new round of boosters for the fall. They are updated versions of the modern Pfizer BioNTech vaccines, targeting both the original coronavirus and the two Omicron subvariants that are currently causing most infections. Now, I have to say, I did catch that Omicron subvariant, and I still have it a little bit in my I could tell because my hands still get stiff from the because that's what was happening when I had COVID. My hands would get stiff and my arms would get stiff. Now my arms don't get stiff anymore, but my hands do. But I didn't take any medicine. They prescribed me with pain medicine, but I never went to pick it up because I was in pain. I don't like taking pills. So if they wasn't giving me no antibiotic, I wasn't really interested. So that's why I didn't take anything. But I did drink a lot of orange juice. Tried to keep eating vegetables, eating just stuff to get my immune system up. And it took like 2 weeks for me to get better. The first week I was okay, but the second week I was still I was okay to move around. I was just very weak still. I didn't have my energy, which if you've ever had COVID, you know that in the first week, it takes about a week for it to wear out or to, like the majority of it to get out of your body. But the second week, your body is exhausted from all that fighting. Your body really is exhausted. So it took me like 2 weeks. But still, even if you take in the vaccine, you're still going to get COVID. Now, they're saying that it's not as severe, like it won't be as bad, but that just depends on which shot you take. So if you take the original COVID shot, then you could get the variant or the subvariant and still have a hell of a time. You know what I mean? And then if you get the subvariant and you get the original corona, you just don't know who you're around and what they have. So yeah, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at a yearly COVID shot. It says these vaccines could be tweaked again if new variants become dominant in the future, which is how the flu shot works. Every fall, people get a new flu vaccine designed to protect against whatever strains of the virus are likely to be circulating that season. The hope is the COVID booster will act the same way. And as the same, it's if you're older or if you already have some type of sickness in you, then they're saying that you're going to be vulnerable. Like if you already have something like high blood pressure or something that you're already fighting off in your body. You've got to put the wild card out of the way, out of left field variant coming in, said White House advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now, I thought that he retired. This is a recent news report. Yeah, this is from a couple days ago. I thought he retired like last week or 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so that's that. I just thought y'all would want to know that that COVID shot is going to be once a year. Now, I did want to talk about this thing with Mystikal. Yeah. So, Mystikal faces possible life sentence after being indicted on first-degree rape charges in Louisiana. As we proudly reported, the 51-year-old rapper was arrested on July 31st and has been held at the Ascension Parish Jail since then. He is currently facing 9 other criminal counts, including domestic abuse, battery by strangulation, robbery, criminal damage to property, several drug-related offenses, as well as false imprisonment. The alleged sexual assault went down on July 30th. Authorities say the rapper held a woman against her will in his Prairieville home, according to New Orleans advocate. Mystikal is now facing a mandatory life sentence under the state law if he is convicted. Per Rolling Stone, however, his attorney doesn't seem fazed by this development in his case. It's an indictment, his attorney Joel Pierce said Wednesday. It means nothing. We look forward to our day in court. And then the comments gets popping. He says he should have never been out to begin with, and to be sure to lose the key after as well. Danger, watch yourself, and now we know why. Right? Buddy should have been gone. He belongs there. Good, since he can't take no for an answer. Right. It's the lyrics in his music for me. Should have added again in the headline. I mean, this isn't his first time. 3 strikes, you out. And they all rape charges. Like, that's weird. It's weird. It's not one drug charge, one rape charge. And these ain't sexual assault. This is rape. And these are, I feel like this dude, he really does have a raping problem. Now, the last time, the first girl, they said that he extorted her. So he made her have sex every time with whoever she wanted because she had stole some money from him. Girl, you should have just took that L and paid that money back. Got sued and paid the money back through the lawsuit and did whatever jail time you was going to do because nope. And so that is what's, girl, this dude. So here's the article. So rapper Mystikal indicted on first-degree rape charges. He could face life he could face life sentence. Like, this is crazy. A Louisiana jury has indicted New Orleans rapper Mystikal on charges of first-degree rape from an alleged sexual assault that is said to have occurred at his Louisiana home in late July. His real name is Michael Lawrence Tyler, was also handed counts of criminal damage to property. I read the charges a little bit earlier. But I think that they said that they took her to the hospital in another report I had read and had his DNA on her. So, and then when she went to the hospital to do a rape kit, it was found that she had been assaulted because they can tell. And so I think he's going to go to prison for life for this. Look, you can't just go around and do whatever you want just because you're a celebrity or just because you are a man and you can overpower a woman. You can't just do that. There's so many men now that think that, well, they've been doing it, but they think that it's okay to overpower a woman and just start doing whatever they want to do to her. And then when she tells, they call it snitching. I don't care what you say. That's not snitching to me. This man needs to be off the streets, and he don't need to be torn. He don't need to be torn. He don't need to be involved with no woman. He don't need to be having no interactions with no woman. You never know what he gonna do. Now he it says here that Tyler was denied bond and fired his attorney in favor of another lawyer who had previously represented him in another sexual assault case in 2017. He was met with first-degree rape and second-degree kidnapping. Prosecutors dropped that case after Tyler posted bond and has spent roughly 18 months in jail. It's an indictment. So, yeah, it means nothing. Now, in normal circumstances, an indictment is shaky because the prosecutor can present all kinds of information and really present their case, but then the defense hasn't presented their case, so you wouldn't know. They just say, yeah, well, based off of what you presented, let's go ahead and you should go ahead and press charges. But that's not the case here. There's actual physical evidence that you did it. There's a medical kit to back up what she's saying. And he took her phone and he did man, this dude, something is wrong with this dude. And then he poured alcohol on her to cleanse her spirits. That's what it said. He poured alcohol on her to cleanse her spirit. And she said throughout the night he would be cool and then he would blow up. He would be cool and he would blow up. This man was going through some type of spiritual battle, and she was right in the middle of it. And then he used alcohol to cleanse her body, and then he raped her. Like, what kind of man would do such a thing? He's a disgusting individual. Seriously. Very disgusting. This is shocking right here. Jeanette McCurdy says her late mother forced her to shower with her 16-year-old brother when she was 11. I got really embarrassed. That's disgusting. Jeanette McCurdy appeared on the latest episode of Red Table Talk on Wednesday to share further details about her tumultuous relationship with her late mother, Deborah, who passed away from breast cancer in 2013. The former Nickelodeon star who rose to fame on the hit series iCarly in 2007 released her explosive memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, last month. And during her chat with Jada Pinkett Smith, Willow, and Adrienne Banfield Norris, she touched on how her mother used to make her shower with her older brother, Scotty. That's weird. Jeanette noted that when she was 11, Deborah thought it was still appropriate for her to shower with her brother, who was 16 at the time, recounting how her mother simply didn't want any of her children to grow up. She read an excerpt from the book saying, he's almost 16 at this point. I get really embarrassed when she showers us together. I can tell he does too. Like, ugh. Jada later interjected and asked how that experience affected the relationship she shares with her brother today, to which the retired actress said she actually shares a great bond with Scotty and her other two brothers, insisting that they have been a source of love and consistency in my life when there really wasn't much anywhere else. This is really sad to hear, but I'm glad she's talking about it and understanding what she went through wasn't her fault. Yeah, I don't think this was her fault. I think that her mom was weird and she had to deal with that, her mom being a weirdo. Um, Unfortunately, um, she was the one that had to, her and her brothers were the ones that had to kind of deal with this. And we're going to read her dad too. So McCurdy says that she started dreading showers at 6, but didn't understand why until much later. She said her home felt like the place of chaos and turbulence while she was growing up. Her mother hoarded, forcing McCurdy and her 3 older brothers to sleep on mats on the floor. She said McCurdy also said their neighbor threatened to call Child Protective Services many times when he'd hear screaming matches through the family's front door. Often Deborah would chase their dad, Mark, around the house with a kitchen knife and refuse to go to therapy. Though McCurdy never felt safe, she didn't think her mother's actions were inappropriate until she went to the doctor with her when she was 11. There, her mother seemed to agree with the doctor's concern over McCurdy's low body weight. But at home, Deborah applauded McCurdy for eating as little as possible to appear thin and young. McCurdy also recalled dreading showers with her mother and brother 5 years before that doctor's appointment. Deborah would say McCurdy didn't know how to wash and care for her curly hair, so she had to wash it for her. She says so. She also justified the group showers by saying she had too much to do, and bathing McCurdy and her brother together would speed things up. Deborah died in 2013, but since then, McCurdy said that she has gone to therapy to heal from the abusive relationship dynamic. McCurdy says her abusive relationship with her mother still affects her relationships today. On Red Table Talk, she says she's still in therapy to undo the unhealthy codependence her mom taught her in childhood. She's always looking out for narcissists and potential partners. When she started seeing a therapist, she couldn't name any of her own emotions because she hid them from her mother for so long to keep her happy. Because of her mother's cancer diagnosis, McCurdy felt like she could never say no to her. As an adult, she would reel at any physical touch from others. If someone would reach out for a hug, McCurdy would think, I can't give them what they want from me, and pull back. Yeah, this is sad. This is really sad. But you know what? Jeanette McCurdy says it was difficult to act as if she loved food on iCarly while she had an eating disorder. It felt like my life was mocking me. That's crazy that's the role she ended up getting. But yeah, look, this kind of stuff happens in homes all the time. We don't see it because, well, some of us have healthy households, but some of us are doing just as much trauma to our children. And I pray that I don't put no, I haven't done anything like that to my son, but I think that this happens way more often than we think. And not just like the shower situation, but just in general where we allow, we do things to our children that they have to heal from when they get older. I think we should check ourselves on that one. All right, so let's take a look at the last story. So 50 Cent and Lil Kim. So Lil Kim and Meg Thee Stallion did a song together, which is Meg Thee Stallion has a song called Plan B, which is about the actual Plan B pill. She talks about taking the Plan B pill. So Lil Kim hopped on the remix of this song. And in the remix, I guess they're saying I've heard Plan B just in passing, but I didn't like the lyrics, just to be honest. I I don't agree with it. But this is not about me agreeing with it. This is about so anyway, so 50 Cent clacked back at the song. Lil Kim calls out 50 Cent for talking about her child. I'm one of the most disrespected legends in the game, but what you will not do is come for my child. She said, now 50 Cent said something about her child's eye being messed up. I never said a word about anyone's child. Please feel free to listen to the song where we were clearly talking about an ex. To try and twist my words to have an excuse to take digs at my child is disgusting. I'm one of the most disrespected legends in the game, but what you will not do is come for my child. So this is the tweet that 50 Cent said. You better light up Nicki QGTM, whatever that is. Nicki Minaj, you better light her butt up. I'm watching. She said something about the baby. Her baby, I messed up, effed up, LOL. And
niggas think they use us, but they useless. Yeah, you know that head feel like I'm toothless. He wanna eat the cookie like Lucius. Spread my legs open like the Jordan logo. And the leopard skin bikini got the kitty looking fat. He like, damn, what is that? He tell you so, a pretty cat. I got him talking like tweet. Nigga, you's a bitch. Your father's a bitch. Your brother's a bitch. Keep acting like this and your son gon' be a bitch. Niggas think they use us, but they useless. Yeah, you know that head feel like I'm toothless. He wanna eat the cookie like Lucius. Spread my legs open like the Jordan logo. And the leopard skin bikini got the kitty looking fat. He like, damn, what is that? He tell you so, a pretty cat. I got him talking like tweet. Nigga, you.
Okay, well, I don't know what they talking about there. I guess that was the audio. Anyway, I just don't I don't understand why 50 Cent always has to troll. That's his job or something. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. He's always trolling, and he's always trolling Black women. Like, why you just don't people could troll your mama, you know what I mean? Because his mom was a Black woman. And but nobody trolls his mama. Let me see. I don't know why this baby's hair is cut like that. But anyway, here is a picture of Kim's baby. So he's saying that something is wrong with her eye. She looks just like her mom. She looks like the guy that she had the baby with. She's so cute. I like this little outfit. But anyway, so and she's right. Lil Kim is disrespected. Nicki Minaj disrespects her. A lot of men disrespect her because they said that she didn't I guess keep the whole thing with them in New York and Junior Mafia going after Biggie died. But that wasn't her job. That was never her job. So I don't understand why people are upset about that, but they are. So that is yeah. So today, we covered Queen Elizabeth II passing away. She was 70 years on the throne. running the whole Windsor Empire. And they own so much land everywhere. They say that she's the number one land owner. Her and Jeff Bezos. That's crazy. I mean, Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Um, and yeah, and we went over Mystikal with his weird self allegedly raping women, and we went over Jeanette McCurdy, and the troubles that she went through as a child. Um, I really feel bad for Jeanette. I think that she is a good actress. I just think that she stay on the path that she's on, which is going to therapy to try to get things straightened out. But and then we also went over that 50 Cent and him and Lil Kim and him trolling. Like I feel like that's his job. That's the only job that he has right now, is to troll. It's the weirdest thing, though. But yeah, so that is this morning's show, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.